What's up everyone? If you've been struggling to adjust to the Fortnite Season 9 meta, you are not alone. Pros like Ninja actually missed qualifying for solo finals this weekend due to the new meta, and he even admitted to it. He said, "I played some of the worst Fortnite of my life, felt completely out of my element, and without the pump, I froze in about 5 fights late game when my combat shotgun would not shoot out of shadow mode. Did not qualify for Sunday." That is just absolutely shocking that a pro like Ninja, somebody that gets to play every day, couldn't adjust. And so I know if you work a lot like I do, you don't get to play as much and you feel like you'll never be as good as some of these players that play 10 to 15 hours a day. And well, that may be true. At the same time, you can still also get very good at the game, still be a great pubs player and have a good time in squads, and be considered one of the best Fortnite players in your friend group if you listen to some of these tips I'm about to talk about. I took a complete month off in April and already I scored 30 points in qualifiers my first weekend back. So it is possible to get that Fortnite touchback very quickly. You just have to practice and play the right way. And so I'm going to share all these tips and more. So let's get into the rest of the video. The first thing we need to ask ourselves is, how have the pros gotten so good at Fortnite? And the reason is they are practicing the right way. I see too often that players only want to play pubs all day, and this is great, but when you really think about it, you are running, farming, and really just chilling most of the time in public matches, especially if you're going for victory royales. That's not helping you get better at the game at all. And so when I was looking up a pro schedule on what he does to play Fortnite every single day, they warm up and they take an accuracy course, so they're constantly working on that aim. Then they are also doing creatives and playgrounds, working on their builds. So these are two things that I understand if you don't have a lot of time like I don't each night. I can only play about 3 hours of Fortnite, so I really only warm up for like 15 minutes. If you guys can only play for an hour, warm up for like 5 minutes in playground, warm up for 5 minutes in the limited time mode, and then hop into a game. It's just any bit of practice you can do each day or every time you get on, it's going to go a much longer way. So I really recommend doing that, guys. You have to play the right way. This is what Cole does, and Cole just posted 46 points in qualifiers yesterday to make solo finals for this week. So that is really cool, and it's working for him. I've seen how much better Cole is than me at Fortnite. It's hard to accept, but if you guys start practicing the same way as all these guys are doing, you are going to see drastic improvements in your game. So good luck doing that, and then I'm going to talk about what I've done to get used to the Season 9 meta now. So far in this video, you've seen a ton of clips of me dominating with the combat shotgun. That was not always the case. I really sucked with this shotgun at the start of the season until I started practicing, and also there have been some issues identified with the shotgun. Ninja tweeted out that when he would throw down a shadow bomb in the qualifiers and then went to pull out the combat shotgun, it wouldn't shoot, so that was getting him killed. And Fortnite has recently tweeted that they understand there are issues with the gun. It's not damaging as consistent as it should, and also there were issues whenever pulling it out after utilizing a shadow bomb. So they are working at this, and it's going to be good to see that it's going to get better, because I definitely see this shotgun has potential, but at the same time I can tell it's not complete as is. But one of the first things I did was I realized that you cannot use this shotgun like a pump. Cole made a video on it, and it was really helpful for me to kind of change up my strategy with this shotgun, because it does have more range, and if you use it the right way, you can do a bunch of early chip damage shots, but you have to figure out if it's even for you. Early on, I kept trying to hit flick shots like I was a pro, and you will see right here, I wanted to show you a few examples of when this shotgun can be really dangerous. Right there, I missed so many shots and almost choked right there, and it would have been on my buddy Justin to close out the game. Then I used to swanton bomb all the time like Tfue, try to one pump people. I hit that guy for 77 right there, when normally that would have done way more damage. Then I hit a second 77 shot. It's just very frustrating whenever you are moving in on those players and they can just immediately pull out a drum gun and spray you down. So these are things you have to get used to and you have to practice. So once I started realizing, okay, this is a different type of shotgun, whenever you're in someone's box like that, you guys are going to want to start using the tac shotgun. That thing absolutely rolls. It is also a way bigger target, so you guys have a bigger chance at doing some damage rather than none at all, like you were seeing me doing in that box. I panicked and I got absolutely worked. So these are things to consider, guys. If your accuracy isn't that great, I really wouldn't worry about getting better with the combat shotgun, and if you are going to use it and you're on controller, make sure you are utilizing aim assist and not trying to hit shots that are way too difficult and way above your skill level. If you're not Tfue or some of these pros, you're not going to be able to hit those flick shots with that small of a hitbox. So that's my advice to you, and now we can talk about the rest of the weapons that you should be utilizing to get more kills and just be more consistent in Season 9. The next thing you have to accept in the Season 9 meta is that a lot of players aren't running an AR anymore. Instead, they're running a drum gun. So you're going to get sprayed a lot, and then other players aren't using a shotgun and are using a drum gun. So pretty much you just need to understand you are always going to run into a drum gun. That's a given, and then it's about how you combat it. And Cole was giving me interesting takes on how players can kind of get around this and do more damage. You can start utilizing, if you're using one less of those guns, maybe you're just using an AR and a drum gun, or just a drum gun and a shotgun, that allows you to start using things like stinks, and you saw my teammate just chuck those in there. He starts getting this guy weaker and weaker, and if you hit somebody with a stink, you're probably going to get a minimum of 10 to 15 damage, and it's just going to make life way easier. So if you are going to go that route and you guys only want to carry an AR and a drum gun, then you can throw a heal in that 4 slot. You can have like stinks or shadow bombs in that 3rd slot, and shadow bombs are great for getting out of a situation you don't like, so that's a great way to just escape and then kind of reset the playing field. And then also in that 5th slot, you can use a sniper like I've got right there, or you can utilize something like explosives. So right now the Season 9 meta is something that is still being figured out. No one has really settled on this is the best inventory setup you can have, but there are a lot of good options and more options now that the drum gun and the pump shotgun are out of the game, because there are less weapons that are like, okay, I absolutely have to have this in my inventory every single time out, and mine is constantly changing as well. We will keep you all posted on whenever we figure out what the best inventory setup to possibly have is, but for right now, you know, pick what's best for you. The drum gun should be a staple, and then you can kind of go from there. Some of the last few things I want to talk about are your approach to gunfights when you actually do find people, and you will see that Justin and I are constantly looking for third parties. So sound is one of the biggest things in the game right now, especially with all the transportation. Now that they've added slipstreams, you can now get around the map with those, launch pads, rift to goes, rifts, and then also utilizing things like geysers. I mean, there are just so many ways to get up and down and fight people that there's really no excuse to not get into engagements. Even if you don't like close combat situations, you should still be able to third party people and then get away. That's why if you're carrying shadow bombs and you start shooting at somebody and you can tell, wow, this person's way better than me, you can immediately get away by throwing those down and dashing away as fast as possible. So for you players that aren't as great and get in some situations that you aren't fans of, remember to use those shadow bombs. That could be a hot item for you all. But another thing you will see me doing a lot, you see it every single time I go to third party someone, how good is that first shot accuracy on the SCAR? It is absolutely unbelievable. Some people ask, you know, why is your accuracy so strong? I really don't think it's that good, but I utilize the things they have put in place in the game. So you will always see me utilizing that crouch. That's something that's very easy to practice, and that's why you want to utilize the slipstream, so you keep getting around the map and keep finding these people to work on the shot. Then I also have good situational awareness. Right there you saw me use that drum gun instead of the combat shotgun. At that time of that clip right there, I wasn't very confident with the combat shotgun, so I said, you know what, I'm going to use the drum gun instead, because I'm just probably going to take this player out or have the best chance to do so. One other thing you need to understand is other players' mindsets these days. Now that there's no one pump in the game, whenever anyone gets somebody weak, they are immediately W keying them, and this is where you need to adjust your strategy. And if you want to get better, you need to W key as well. Anytime that we get somebody weak, Justin and I immediately call it out. Hey, this player's weak, let's knock him, and then you have the man advantage if you're fighting a duo, or the man advantage if you're fighting a squad. It just makes sense to try to take out as many weak players as possible, and if you are getting W keyed, it's most likely going to be with the drum gun. I was stunned how many people push with that right when they get somebody weak. You should do the exact same thing, but again, this goes back to my inventory advice. This is where if you know that you aren't a great editor and can't edit out a box whenever someone's W keying you, that's where shadow bombs can come into play. Also, this is where rift to goes come into play. So definitely make sure you're building up that inventory around your weaknesses, so that whatever you're not good at, you can cover up with whatever items you have to kind of save you from those really crappy situations. That's everything I've got though, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope these tips were helpful. This is everything Cole and I have been doing to really dominate Season 9 and get used to no pump shotguns anymore. I know the change was really drastic, but the players that are adjusting the quickest are the ones that are seeing the most success. So I want you all to have the same success Cole and my friends and I have been having. It's been a lot of fun, and I really have been enjoying Season 9, even though ballers and things like that are still in the game. I know Fortnite makes some very frustrating decisions, and things happen that really drive you insane, and you question what the developers are doing. But if you just kind of understand that, you know what, it's kind of out of my control what they are doing, I can only control how I perform and how I adjust to the changes, that's going to to make you a much happier Fortnite player and help you perform a lot better with your friends or in the qualifiers. So good luck to everyone. Please leave a comment if we did help. This has been Josh from Rodey Bros, and I will see you all in the next video.
Started as a zero, I was chasing dreams, trying to turn into a hero. Sniper rifle, 5 rivals, going for the title. I could be the one that they idol.